Hey everybody, we're back with episode 2 of Under the Covers.
Episode right? Is that how they say it in French too?
You're the foreign language expert. After last episode, I learned, so sounds about right. Well,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, French. Mindy says she took French for 4 years, but she was trying to talk to Scott one day because he's in school taking French, and she didn't know anything
mhm.
he said. So I
Nice, nice.
I doubt
That's like me with German. I took a lot of German, and you know, still remember a few words, but
just words here and there. Is that what it is?
yeah, yeah, pretty much. I tried to flirt with a German waitress once here in town a couple years ago, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I speak German," and then she starts talking. I was like, "All right," I backed myself into a corner here. That was wrong, but
Nice.
but
It's funny when you hear people speak foreign languages, don't they sound like they talk so fast? Do you think they say that about us?
probably except people in the South.
Oh my gosh, the South. I don't want to alienate, a whole
No,
market in this
no,
country.
there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, you know,
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
they
because
speak a little slower,
I,
not
I
not
work
in
with
a bad way.
I work with people from Italy, and they have this bounce to their language where they're like da 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 da. It sounds like a rhythm, like the whole time. And I want to dance when they talk sometimes, like just bouncing
Well,
around.
I think that is a Romance language, so that would make sense.
I I thought French was is French a Romance language?
I
Going
believe so.
bringing this full circle now. French. I mean, back to the French.
Oh, well,
What is a Romance language?
I I don't have the answer for that. Maybe something that just sounds pretty when you say it. I'm pretty sure German's not a Romance language.
No, because every time they talk, they sound like they're screaming and yelling at you and spitting on you.
Well, this has nothing to do with our conversation or our topic today.
No, no, not at all, not at all.
Not not that I can think of, at least. I mean, maybe Kurt Cobain spoke some French.
I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know. Chris, is it Chris Novoselic? He sounds like he should be from a different country. He looks like he's from a different country.
Yeah.
Sweden. Going back to Sweden. By the way, I did look up. There is no good food in Sweden.
No, not even their meatballs.
I, that's borderline, but I don't know. I was just basically looking at it on the plane the other day coming home, and Swedish food sounds like it sucks. No wonder. Yeah, it just sounds like everything about it sucks.
Oh, that reminds me. I've been losing sleep over some stuff on the last episode. That was kind of part of it because I don't even think we brought up Swedish meatballs, just the fish, which I doubt are
Oh
actually
yeah.
from Sweden. But who knows? Maybe. But that whole Wonder Years conversation with Joe Cocker's version with a little help from my friends, I had said that Bob Saget was the narrator,
Oh yeah.
and I think I may have been confused with because I think he does How I Met Your Mother.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so it was actually Daniel Stern. Um,
Daniel Stern, huh?
Daniel Stern from of Wet Bandits fame.
What?
Or sticky,
What?
yeah, Wet Bandits, and then there were the Sticky Bandits with Joe Pesci and Home Alone.
Huh? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, now I got it.
yeah. So
Well,
that
that's
Daniel Stern.
I see. I got it now. See how appropriate it's Christmas time right now, and we bring up Home Alone. We are a topical podcast.
Yeah, I did watch Home Alone Friday night.
Did you really?
One of my favorite Christmas movies, probably one or two. It's
It's
right
a
up
good
there with
one.
Christmas Vacation. So
We watched Christmas Vacation. We were getting ready for a party, and I was making some food, and we put on Christmas Vacation. The sledding scene is literally, for some reason, I get idiotic when it comes on there because I laugh so hard when he's like, "Later, dudes," and then he just goes zipping down there. I mean, it's just the timing of that is hilarious to me. And Mindy and the kids were all like, "Holy moly! I've never seen Nick laugh so hard." And it's just, I love that scene.
nice.
That
It's a good
scene,
one.
that scene, and then the scene from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles when they go between the trucks. That one there, is crazy too with Steve Martin and John Candy, and when they get done, and the steering wheel's like bent back, and his other fingers are like embedded in the dashboard. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh yeah. So well,
Oh,
yeah. So this is our first podcast that's remote, which is new technology for us. How about that?
yeah. It's we're in different
Breaking new
states.
ground here.
This
Different
might be the
states.
first time this ever happened.
Yeah. Oh my. I just got a text message and it was super loud in my earphones here. So
Yeah,
sorry about that if you can hear that or not.
I didn't, so I
Oh,
think we're good.
so we Undercovers podcast. How this works is we compare two songs, a cover song or original version of a song. We talk about it and then we listen to a cover version of that song and tell about what we like and what we don't like, and then we compare them, and then at the end we independently uh, reveal which one's our favorite. And I had some people asking about this, like, do we have to collectively agree on this? And I was like, well, no, that's part of the conversation, like because they were thinking like we had to like vote and then argue this out, and then there's gonna be a winner, and they're like, won't your brother not like really dig that if you're always having to try to hash this stuff out? And I'm like, no, this is just our opinions. I mean, we're not
Yeah, yeah. We don't have to fight about it. I mean, we can, but we don't need to.
taking a little money out of your Christmas card.
We should. I was thinking about that too. I know this is only episode 2, but we should keep a running tally of where we
It's a,
stand.
it's a good idea.
Yeah. So we'll have to do that. But
I dig
um,
it. I dig
but
it.
yeah,
So today,
today we are
you go
going
ahead.
to we're going to talk about the song "In Bloom" by the band Nirvana.
Nirvana.
And the cover version we will talk about today is by Sturgill Simpson.
I think that's a cool name, by the way.
It is. It is a cool name. It fits with his genre of music. Like it just fits his vibe, his whole
Yeah,
everything. I have the vinyl up here behind me of
I
Sturgill
see that.
Simpson,
I
and
see that.
it's a great album. I have a couple of his albums, but this one is Sailor's Guide to Earth.
Yeah.
And
It's funny. I until we started, putting the song that this was the one that we were going to do and started research, I guess I never saw him like what he looks like. Uh he looks like a normal dude, like a very
yeah,
normal guy. I mean, he doesn't look like, Kurt Cobain, which just looks like a straight up rock star.
yeah, looked.
I yeah, I guess looked, yeah. Really all of Nirvana does look like rock stars. They were certifiably, unabashedly rock stars,
Yeah. No, I agree completely. They fit the mold of that grunge rock star look for sure.
right? Right. So
Um,
Nirvana, and In Bloom,
yeah, before we get
1992. Oh,
too
you're
far
gonna tell me?
into the
Okay.
discussion, yeah,
Yeah.
I just wanted to call out our sponsor for today's episode.
Oh,
Um, it is our today's episode of Under the Covers is brought to you by Blossom Flower Seeds by Joey Lawrence. Our flowers will make you say, "Whoa!" So we appreciate the
what?
sponsorship.
It's how much have you been drinking today? It's crazy.
I mean, I've had a few cups of coffee.
Oh, jeez. I
No
right
food
now.
yet. I'm probably got a caffeine buzz.
I didn't know we were getting sponsors. Is the checks coming to you? I'm assuming, and it goes into our joint bank account.
Yes.
Nice, nice. It's, there's 30 cents. 30 cents richer.
All right. So sorry to interrupt, but
No,
we
I
want to
liked it.
get paid, so I have to.
Got to get paid. See, we got to figure out how to monetize this thing, so it's good. So, yeah, so Nirvana on the iconic album Nevermind. You know what year that came out? It's probably in your notes.
What year it came out? The album,
Yeah,
1991.
1991. And the single of In Bloom came out in 1992. How about that?
Correct.
Actually, it came out on November 30th of 1992.
Look at you fact checking things.
I am fact checking things, and it was only released as a single in Europe, number 28 on the British singles chart. So it was only in Europe, mate, or
Nice.
Swedish,
Did
whatever
not know
Swedish people
that.
say.
I had read it was the fourth and final single from that album as
Yeah,
well.
that was a hell of an album. With a at the time wasn't very controversial cover, was it? Now it's controversial because it's kid porn.
I mean, I wouldn't say porn. It's art. Art and porn. There's a blurry line there.
For those that don't know, that these kids that are playing Fortnite that don't have albums, this album cover has a kid, a little baby, maybe, I don't know, underwater chasing a dollar bill. But in the photo, you can see his dangly bits. Is that what
Yep, yep, the old dangly parts there, just
dangly
floating.
parts? That's yeah,
Dangly bits, though, that's a good one.
yeah. Well, that's my British interpretation because this was only released in Europe.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
Kurt
it's
Cobain, huh?
yeah.
What a rock star.
You know, I've had a sort of a hate relationship with Nirvana for all these years. It wasn't the band that I really dug like the most. That album was huge, and I mean, I remember I think it was on a New Year's Eve show when they played something, and I was like, wow, at least the '80s are dead, because I didn't like '80s music. Um, but man, oh man, the album itself, I was always kind of like hit and miss. Like I listened to it, and I owned it, but I didn't listen to it nonstop. So
Yeah, yeah, I was more of a casual fan myself. I don't even think I ever owned the CD, to be honest. It's basically just what was on the radio. I've never necessarily disliked Nirvana, but I never got into them personally. I enjoyed most of what I heard. I
yeah,
really like their the Unplugged album. That was a fun.
oh yeah,
I think the MTV
I gotta give that a
Unplugged that
listen.
they used to do, and then they
Yeah.
had some good covers on there too themselves. So
Yeah, I've got to listen to the Unplugged album again. Again, it was one of those ones. I think I owned that one as well. But thinking, speaking of things everybody hates, Courtney Love thinks that the "In Bloom" should have been the first single release because she feels it's a far better song than "Smells Like Teen Spirit." Um, but Courtney Love is a whack job, so who knows?
yeah, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe did she have some sort of writing in the song or anything like that? Like, no.
No, I just think she's a bitch that wants to say whatever she wants to say, and I don't know. She
So
seems
we're
crazy.
alienating Courtney Love from our podcast.
Yeah, no, actually, I think we're picking up more viewers. I think it's a net gain because I think there's other people that are like, that lady is crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
So it is. In Bloom is by Rolling Stone magazine. Says it's one of the greatest rock songs of all time. So this is a quite the endorsement by Rolling Stone magazine. But again, you got "Smells Like Teen Spirit" and "Come As You Are" bookending the song on the album because it's the second song on the album. So, gosh dang, I mean that's quite the trifecta. "Smells Like Teen Spirit," "In Bloom," "Come As You Are."
yeah.
So, and this is actually the second recording of "In Bloom" that you hear on the album. Did you know that?
Really? No, I didn't. The first
Yeah.
one just got scrapped, or
Yeah, so the first time they recorded this, they were in Chicago, and David Grohl was not a part of the band at the time. There was the original Nirvana drummer, Chad Channing. He actually was the drummer the first time they recorded it. And you can actually hear the original recording if you go to YouTube and look up "In Bloom" original or whatever. You can hear that recording as it was done. It's pretty much the same.
hmm,
It's very close. Let me say that. Um, like the guitars are very similar. The there's no harmonies. There's no Dave Grohl harmonies in the chorus. Um, and the toms, like when the guy's playing the tom toms, they're sort of, if they're looser, like Courtney Love. They're very loose.
Interesting. No, I didn't know that. I also didn't know that fact about Dave Grohl. So basically, did he come on and was Dave on all the tracks on Nevermind, or was Chad on some of
Yeah,
them?
no, it was all David Grohl. So what they did is they
Okay.
recorded a bunch of the songs. I think it was an EP in Chicago, and I don't think that they liked it or something. Oh, they changed record labels. That's what it was. The original one was Sub Pop, which was a, um, sort of a grunge label, I guess, if
Hmm.
you will. And then they wanted to re-record it when they were signed, and they actually recorded at a place called Sound City Studios in L.A. And they basically re-recorded the whole album with David Grohl. And this Chad Channing guy um, left because of creative differences. It's not probably not his best career move. Just throwing it out there.
No, no. Now I don't know what Chad's doing nowadays. I didn't know about Chad until today. So what? How would I know what he's doing nowadays?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, they re-recorded it, and the song, David Grohl says, yeah, I kind of just was faithful to the original, and it was the first song that they recorded uh, on for Nevermind, like the new version of it. And the producer, his name's Butch Vig. He's a kick-ass producer.
Yeah,
Um,
drummer from
they
Garbage
yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
Another Courtney Love tie-in, right? I bet you he fucking hates Courtney Love. He's like that bitch. Oh wait, no, she's not a part of Garbage, is she?
No, she was whole.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah. So no, but I mean, I'm sure she and Butch met each other.
yeah. Uh, Butch has got like a horribly ugly mustache. He's got to let that go. He's got no, Charlie mustache like you do.
Oh, I thought you were. I'm glad you weren't putting a dig at me. So
No, no, you have a very nice, and so does Sturgill Simpson. He's got a nice looking mustache in this picture that I'm looking at over here too. Um, but no, Sound City Studios. One of the things that made it real kick ass was the drum sounds that you can get there. That was like one of the key things, and I guess in recording studios, getting great drum sounds is kind of a tough thing to do. But I guess at Sound City Studios, um, they've got this drum room, and the way they mic it there, just the reverb and everything sounds great. Um, there's a whole documentary on Sound City Studios, and David Grohl actually produced it and filmed the documentary. So it's cool.
nice,
Yeah,
nice. I like
yeah.
how you call him David. Like you're just being very proper.
Well, I don't know him. We're not on short name basis. I'm sure if he refers to me, he's like Nicholas. You
Yeah,
know.
probably. He seems like a respectful man.
Yeah. So it's does
Butch Vig
does everybody
also
else call him
produced
Dave?
some Foo Fighters. Foo Fight. I don't know. I always thought it was Dave Grohl, but maybe it is David Grohl. I've just been disrespecting him this whole time.
Hmm. I wonder. I got his book over there. I bet you. I bet you. I'm gonna go with David, man. I'm gonna go with David.
Okay,
Uh,
we'll stick with David.
so Butch Vig produced some Foo Fighter stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Some of the later Foo Fighters. I think one of them was kind of a greatest hits thing, and then I think it may have done an actual album as well. But yeah, Butch Vig has done
Nice.
a lot. Smashing Pumpkins, Jimmy Eat World,
I
Green
know.
Day. So a lot of big names.
Jimmy Eat World. I so I knew he did the pumpkins, and I think he did Siamese Dream and Gish, right?
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
He also,
And
I
I
forgot, I have a note here. He also did a House of Pain album.
what?
Yeah. And I think it
Jeez.
might have been the one with their Jump Around song or whatever. That was
Really?
them. That was that.
N-
Yeah. I think so.
nice. Man, what a career this dude's had. I mean, doing a greatest hits album, I mean, come on. What do you do? Just select the songs?
I mean, who knows? Maybe they re-recorded some. But yeah, that would be a pretty sweet gig just to be like, yeah, we'll pick these ones. They sounded good the first time, so put a producer credit on there. I'll take my check.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, Dave, get in here." And then Mr. Grohl comes in and is like, "You call me David." Look at this lineup of songs.
Oh man.
So
Well,
I saw a documentary on, they had the Smashing Pumpkins and, what's his name? Billy Corgan? Yeah,
hmm
Billy Corgan, right? He was saying that, when
William,
Butch Vig,
I call
well,
him.
yeah, me and Billy are close. We're tight. We're bros. He was saying that he was worried that, when Butch Vig, recorded Nirvana, that he was going to get so big that he wouldn't be able to do their, album, Siamese Dream. I think it was Siamese Dream, and luckily he did, because that's a hell of an album. Like,
hmm
hopefully he actually did Siamese Dream. Otherwise, we're giving all these millions of listeners that we have the wrong facts.
They could fact check and yell at us.
Yeah, we should put a little thing at the end of this that absolves us of any false information.
No
The views and
slander
opinions,
here.
the views and opinions of Under the Cover Contest are not regulated. So one other thing that's cool about In Bloom was the video.
Yes.
Have you checked out the video lately?
Yeah, I haven't watched it lately actually. Some of the research I did mention the video, but I can recall seeing them in dresses and jamming out
Y-
like a Happy Days kind of vibe to
Yeah,
the video.
yeah. They wanted it to look like a '50s live television, and they actually used vintage equipment to film it. So they used an old kinescope camera, which is what they really filmed things with in the '50s. And the way it works is, a guy introduces them. Doug Llewellyn from the People's Court actually introduces them on the show, and then they perform in the song. And Chris Novoselic cut his hair for the video, and he liked it so much he kept it afterwards. So after that, he always had short hair.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Sometimes a
and
change is good.
oh yeah, and Kurt, when he was concepting the video with the producer, director, whoever it is, said he wanted to show Nirvana's humorous side. That's why they did that. So they were just
Yeah.
some swell guys cutting up.
Well, and that the song itself is, kind of humorous in a way, because of the way, the lyrics are, kind of Kurt poking fun at, you know, his music getting popular and the people just singing along to it without
Yeah.
really without really thinking about what the song means. They're just singing along to a nice happy poppy tune, grungy poppy tune.
A grungy poppy tune. The one thing I did read too is that there was a remix that was actually used for the video, but I couldn't pick out the differences in there. But there was a bunch of yelling and screaming, like the girls in the audience over the video the whole time. So maybe I just couldn't hear it. So
Okay. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, you think about it too. I mean, these guys are just like kids when they're recording this stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's kind of crazy to think about. Um,
just little
all
kids.
they produced and all the music they made while they were so. I mean, it still happens to this day. It's not like it's not common. It's just crazy to think about when
Yeah.
I'm 40s and yeah,
You
but
know, you speaking of kids, I was actually, while I was listening to this, Butch Vig had to tell David Grohl, or not David Grohl, but uh, Kurt Cobain to double track his voice in the studio, which means, for those that don't know, sometimes they sing a line, and then to double track it, they sing the exact same line in the same notes. Because your voice is off a little bit, it sounds fuller. But uh, okay. So one thing that was sort of interesting. What are you laughing at?
oh, just technical difficulties. But
Oh yeah, yeah. We should probably say that. So who knows where this is going to get picked up here? We've had technical difficulties today. So we were talking about some of the recording that they did here, and Butch Vig had to convince Kurt Cobain to do a double track of his voice to make it fuller during the chorus. And what double tracking is when you go into a recording studio, you sing a line, and then you sing the same exact line over again, same notes and everything. But because your voice is off a little bit, it makes it sound fuller. And the way Butch told him to do that was, he said, well, because John Lennon did it, you should be able to do it too. And so I guess that Mr. Cobain, Curtis Cobain, was like, word, I guess I'll do it that way too, dude. That's an actual quote, by the way. I found that was the word stuff.
Yeah, makes sense. Was his birth name Curtis?
I don't know. I don't know what his
name either.
Curtis. But I'm never gonna. I'm probably never gonna like look at him the same anymore. I think it takes him off rock star status when you call him Curtis.
Yeah.
But the Grohl harmonies in that spot too. That was one of the biggest differences between the Chicago recording and the Nevermind version that I noticed. That was like, oh, you don't have that high harmony thing that David Grohl does. So it's pretty cool. But should we listen to it?
Yeah, let's give it a listen, and then we'll come back and maybe discuss it for a few more minutes and go from there. So if you want to listen along, we'll link the Spotify link in the podcast notes. Maybe some other links if we're allowed to YouTube or whatnot. But
to dirty movies. Straight up dirty movies.
Yep.
All right, let's go.
All right. All right.
That's pretty legit.
That is legit. That is a good song. That is a good song.
The loud, the quiet, loud dichotomy is cool. It's awesome.
Yeah, and really listening to it on headphones really pulls in that David Grohl background vocals for me. Yeah. So if I'm just listening to it, on the speakers or doing whatever, I don't necessarily pick up on that stuff. And then when you called it out earlier, I could really, I think I was also listening for it, but I dig it, man. That's good.
It is, and I think it's you bring up a good point about listening to music, I guess, in different ways. You can listen to it in your car. You got some, depending on what kind of system you got in your car, but you also got road noise, and you pick out some generalities. And then when we did our first podcast, we were sitting in my office with pretty good speakers in here. We have it pretty loud, and you pick out different nuances. But then when you put headphones on, you just get the detail of every little sonic nuance in there, and I think that's awesome to do. I'm glad we're doing this podcast strictly so we can listen to music in different ways than I'm used to, which is just with my shitty ear pods or whatever, and in the car. So the other thing too is the tom toms of Mr. Grohl's drums. They're just so full, and you can hear. It's almost like you can hear the wood. I mean, it just has that tone that's awesome to me. Gosh, they just recorded that so perfect to me.
Yeah, and that guitar solo, like around the 3-minute mark, when he just kind of just it's like a perfect like representation of like 90s grunge. Like
right, and Kurt Cobain wasn't known as like a guitar soloist. There's not a lot of notes in that guitar solo, but they all mean something. It's Buddy Guy always said, make every note count. It's not fast. It's just aggressive and in your face, and kind of like this is what we want to say. It's not a rehash of the melody. It's just sort of mayhem, which is cool.
Yeah, it's like a screeching, but not in a bad way. Like you hear, like I'm just trying to find a better word for it, because screeching sounds bad, but it's just that gives you chills, kind of just
Yeah.
screech. I don't know how else to explain it, but
Yeah. And you know the other thing too is the song starts off in your face, and
hmm
I mean it's just gets going right away. And in this day and age, people need they like songs are so filled with stuff that, and this was one song that was, you know, early, obviously in the early '90s, that, you know, but man, if you don't get into the song right away, you're something's wrong with you. You must be Courtney Love or something, you know. But and then going into that riff, which is just, it's a simple riff, but it's effective. And um, yeah, again, just perfectly crafted song. And then the end, as it goes dun dun, and then knowing that the next song is "Come as You Are," there's a great transition there as well. That
hmm
song selection, and that's, you know, we know Butch Vig and how he can select songs, right? Because he
yes,
did
but
he
yeah,
did
just the way it just ends abruptly, just
yeah,
boom, it's done. It
yeah.
doesn't fade out. It just boom, done, and then yeah, like you said, just goes right into the next track,
You,
perfectly.
you know, I love it when songs end. Like, I'm not a big fade out guy, and not that there's really anything wrong with it. It's just I like songs that just end. It's like, oh, I figured out how to end this thing really kick ass. Um, I don't know. Is that, do you have a preference one way or the other? Have you ever even thought about it?
No, I agree with you. Because yeah, it just there are some songs out there that just seems like it just keeps going and going and going. They just didn't figure out how to end it, and just kind of
Yeah,
fades out. Also, you know, when you get radio play and things like that, a lot of those songs that just kind of fade out, they just get cut
yeah.
before that ends. So yeah, I agree with you for the most part. I When
You,
it ends, when it's done, it's done.
you know what song probably could have used a fade out? Hey Jude, because it's like it's like 45 hours of the na 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 na. Hey Jude. I'm like, I got it the first 100 times.
Yeah, yeah. The song that
But
never ends.
oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I guess I get the words wrong on that all the time. But no, what a killer version, man. I can see why it has 300 million views on Spotify or listens on Spotify. Um, yeah, just obviously an iconic song on an iconic album. So
hmm
can't go wrong there, at all. So then you got Sturgill Simpson's version.
Yeah, Sturgill Simpson recorded it. Um, Totally different, completely different.
Yeah, uh, completely different. Um,
I mean, if you didn't know the song, you wouldn't know it was a cover.
y-
Like,
yeah,
if you
yeah,
didn't
and I'll tell you
realize,
this.
yeah,
This
you could just play this album, his album. Go ahead,
I'm
sorry.
sorry, I lost you. What? No, I lost you.
No, I was saying if you just played A Sailor's Guide to Earth and didn't even think twice about it, you wouldn't know it was a Nirvana cover.
Right, right, exactly. And this song was sort of my entry point into Sturgill Simpson's sound and everything he was about. And I think that that's probably, you know, for an artist is probably a good thing to get new listeners, because I remember, I don't know how I've ever stumbled across it, but I was like, holy shit. Again, I liked In Bloom, I liked you know, Nirvana, but then I heard this and I'm like, wow, this is something else.
hmm Yeah, it was,
So
they used it in a soundtrack for the movie The Dead Don't Die. It was a kind of a horror comedy about zombies with Bill Murray, Adam Driver. Uh,
really?
yeah, yeah, he was actually in it too. He's been in a few things. There was a bunch of famous people in that movie: Iggy Pop, Tom Waits, RZA from the Wu-Tang Clan. They were all like zombies. Uh, yeah, it was a good movie.
Nice. So it came out. I've never heard of the movie. Like literally never even heard of it.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was like a big budget thing. It was, but it had big stars. Like I said, Bill Murray and Adam Driver. Uh, I think the woman in it was Chloe Sevigny. I don't know if that's nearly how to pronounce her name,
She's
but
Swedish.
possibly.
Sounds
I've
like it.
never seen her eat meatballs, but that doesn't mean she's not Swedish.
Of course. There we go. Coming back around to Swedish meatballs.
So when was this album recorded?
It was recorded in 2016. A Sailor's Guide to Earth. The song was released on March 24th of that same year. And it's it was recorded as something to his son, that like a guide to life for his son. And
Yeah.
his wife has a song on that too, on the same album, or it was Sarah or something like that. Not Sarah, the Sarah. I hate that song, by the way. We're never going to do that song on this podcast.
I'm okay with that.
But yeah, it's on according to Metacritic, the album has received an average score of 86, which indicates that it has universal acclaim. It's a hell
Nice.
of an album.
Is that out of 100?
Yeah, that's like a B. I thought
It's a
it
good
80.
B.
It's a good B, but I guess, and it was funny because I should note that there was 19 reviews on this thing. So out of the 19 reviews, it's known as a universally acclaimed album. So you got, on one hand, we got Nevermind, which is widely known as one of the greatest albums of all time, and then you got 19 people that are on this other website this one time someday said this is a universally wonderful album.
Yeah. Well, it did win a Grammy for the
Yes.
best country album and
Yeah.
album of the year by the Americana Music Awards. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
So it was a. I think those 18 people. There's more than 18, but
Oh yeah.
that liked it probably.
It is a solid album, front to back, and you know, I listening to the song "In Bloom" in context, it's a great position. It's awesome. I love the way they've done that. When they recorded this album, they recorded it live in the studio. So we talk about the recording, and heck, we talked about the sub pop and the overtone, or the double tracking voices. When they record the album live in the studio, it's just that all the musicians are in a recording studio, sometimes in separate rooms, but they record it all in one take. If they don't like that take, they either re-record the whole thing or splice in just like the second half or something like that. So this song, with the ambiance that it has as you listen to it, is pretty remarkable. The soundscape that they created live, without any sort of crazy studio trickery.
Yeah, they got horns in it. They got strings in it. Sturgill Simpson's voice in it is smooth like butter.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And you brought up the horns, and I don't know if you've picked it out, but in that solo section, there's a killer flugelhorn in there. And the flugelhorn, for those that don't know, it's a valved bugle that resembles a trumpet, but it's a little larger and has a more conical bore than a trumpet, but not quite as much as a French horn. It was developed in Germany in the early 19th century, and Hendrik Stölzl bought the very first one in 1828. And it's nice because it goes into a nice B-flat tuning, but I think on this song, they actually used one of the C-tuned flugelhorns, and it's a bit more mellow and darker than a trumpet. I just think it was a wonderful choice of an instrument for the flugelhorn versus the trumpet. What do you think about that subject?
I didn't know we were going to flugelhorn school today, but so this is all news to me. Very interesting fact. I love your deep dive into flugelhorns. That's a hard word to say.
Oh yeah.
But
Well, I'm a big
created in
fan
good
of
old Deutschland.
I'm a
Uh,
big fan of flugelhorns. If you gotta be a good flugelhornist to put a song like this and put a solo on it. Oh, it's just amazing.
so would you say it had?
Makes my nipples hard. Makes my nipples very hard.
Is that because of the extra hole it has in it?
Yeah, yes, that's exactly. So no, yeah. So the flugelhorn. See, you get good
Gosh,
information off this podcast.
yes. Now, who played the flugelhorn on the song?
I don't know. I don't know who I could just hear it. Just
Okay,
when I
right.
listened to it in earphones, I was like, that's
Just
not a trumpet. That's not a French horn. I bet you that's the good old flugelhorn.
all right. Well, I'll listen for that when we play this song. Um, Sturgill
So,
Sturgill also changes some of the lyrics in the song.
did he?
So yeah, yeah. So instead of saying uh, that part where he goes, but he know in Nirvana, but he don't know what it means, don't know what it means, or but he knows not what it means, knows not what it means,
Yeah.
and I say, yeah. Sturgill's changed it to, but he don't know what it means, don't know what it means to love someone, and so he just,
Ah,
I mean, so he changed that lyric. I think all the rest are the same, but I think he changed that and almost changed the meaning of the song from like a song picking on the crowd that's just singing along to your song
yeah,
to he changed it more to a song about growth, life, and love, and just kind of like you had mentioned earlier with the whole theme of the whole album was for his son.
right.
So I think respectfully he changed it. Um, I don't think he ruined the song by any means by changing any of the lyrics, and
Yeah,
just something
I
that stuck out to me. It kind of changed the whole meaning of the song, in my opinion.
it's funny because I guess I subconsciously always thought it said to love someone. I maybe maybe yeah, I always thought that that was the lyrics. So, uh, yeah, that's interesting. That's really interesting, actually. Um, the success of Sailor's Guide to Life, Werny. What is it called? What's the movie?
Yes.
Guide to Earth. There you go. Um, I didn't even know what album we're listening to now. So, it got him a opening slot on a Guns N' Roses tour. Now, now I'm telling you, I'm a pretty big Guns N' Roses fan, and I know a lot of Guns N' Roses fans. But I think that they'd be rather shocked if they go, you know, smoking meth and getting some whiskeys, and then going into the Guns N' Roses concert and doing like, let's see this opening guy, but she's gonna thrash, and then Sturgill Simpson comes out and does a song like "In Bloom." They're gonna be like,
Yeah. Sturgill can definitely, you know, rock and roll too. Like some of his stuff is pretty heavy country rock.
yeah, yeah,
Um, he's got this EP called Sound and Fury,
oh
and
yeah,
it was released a few years after this album we're talking about. But he also they made a anime like on Netflix. It was like I think it was a Netflix only special, and it's
really
the whole album playing to like this kind of apocalyptic cars, like just big muscle cars and explosions, and it probably has a lot deeper meaning than anything I've taken from it, but it rocks. Uh,
nice.
Worth the watch.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Yeah, he does. He does have some rockin' tracks. He's got a couple bluegrass albums, I think, too, and but this album in particular, with his voice, and you brought that up earlier about like how, especially in this song, it's very very present. It's very very close to you. It feels like they're almost like he's singing almost like right in your ear. Um, but his voice to me, and pretty much the whole entire music on this. This is the type of like country music I dig. It's sort of like old country, not this,
Hmm.
stuff that they got going on today. And so yeah, it's this thing. I mean, if you haven't checked this album out, start to finish, it's definitely worthwhile. So, and it was engineered by a guy named David Ferguson, who he in engineering when you record stuff is like how they actually place the microphones and adjust all the dials and stuff that you got there. And he was a guy that works with Rick Rubin all the time. They do a lot of albums together. Rick Rubin's one of the most highly well respected producers of all time.
Yeah,
Um,
he looks
but
cool too.
yeah, he does.
Like
He
Ruben
does.
looks like a badass.
And this David Ferguson look like a book nerd. I mean, big time. But the thing is his albums, like, I mean, in this one here, it just sonically is done so well. I mean, you can hear every note and every nuance of every instrument, like the good old flugelhorn. So
You can't forget about that flugelhorn.
nope,
We
nope.
should listen to it because I'm gonna listen for that flugelhorn now.
Yeah, we can listen to it. So Yeah, so song clocks in at 4 minutes, right on the button. 32.5 million Spotify spins. And you know what's funny is it's 4 minutes, so it's a little shorter than the Nirvana version. Um, but the funny thing is, it's slower, and you to me the Nirvana one is oddly long for what it is. You think it's a lot shorter. You think that that's like a 2.5 minute song. When you listen to this song, it feels oddly long, especially as we get to the end of it. So let's let's give it a spin and we'll talk about it in a few minutes here.
All right, here we go.
Woo, flugelhorn.
Flugelhorning it up. So, so you think that's a pedal steel in that song, right? Not just a lap steel, like the way
That's
they.
yeah,
It's got to
definitely.
be a pedal. I
Yeah.
love that sound, man. Just
It, it,
gives me
it's
chills.
it does. It's funny you said that because at that so the song kind of fades out there for a long time. Like it's not even fade out, it just kind of has a
Yeah,
soundscape. And there's this sound at 335. I think it's the pedal steel where it just kind of goes like, and it's just this cool little thing. And I'm like, gosh dang. I mean, that you're right. It gives you chills.
yeah,
It's so
yeah.
cool, man.
His vocals also. I mean, like I say, you just listen to a song sometimes, and especially if you're just really listening to it in headphones, like we were describing earlier, and I just get chills, goosebumps on my neck. That's one of them right there. That
Yeah.
was
In the very beginning, in the beginning of the song, when you listen to it with headphones, you can hear like the moisture on his lips or in his tongue and stuff. I mean, that's how close it feels to your hearing him, and again, that's that engineering and the ambiance that they did when they recorded it, and where the Nirvana version it had loud and soft by like raging guitars and then kind of quiet spots. Here the loud and soft is kind of done in a different way. It's sort of like his voice is so present and right there, but it's also sort of soft in a way, until he
hmm
gets obviously loud in the climax of the song and whatnot. So, but man, it just the quality of recording is second to none. Probably one of the
yeah,
best I've ever heard.
yeah, and to have that done live in studio is awesome. But I do love the build ups in that song, like you had
Yeah,
mentioned. Like, I mean, the first half of the song is just straight up, just quiet, just chill in your face, and then there's the few build ups where the flugelhorn comes in, things like that. Um, but yeah, and then that build up right at 30 seconds before the song ends, just kind of like how Nirvana's version just ended.
yeah,
Sturgill kept it going for another 30 seconds and just kind of had like a lullaby to lull you back into relaxation after
yeah.
that real build up.
Yeah, and it segues into the song from Sea Stories, and then obviously the
hmm
song, but it sort of kind of segues out as well. But again, I don't feel like this is a fade out. Like I feel like it's a soundscape. Um,
Yeah, I
and,
think
and I
that's how the whole album is. They all just the album. This is one of those albums that it's good just to listen to it as an album
yeah,
because they flow into each other.
I wonder how they recorded because the end is musical, but it's also like people are just kind of interpretive dancing, so to speak. And I wonder how like I mean, in the studio, is he looking around at these guys like, "Hey, cellist, go ahead and do something there," or pedal steel guy, or I wonder how they did that, or they could have just taken 100 takes of it and then been like, "This is how we're going to do it." I mean, but it's just
Yeah,
it's very fluid. So, but it's musical, very musical. So,
yeah.
so
That's
let's talk
a
about this. You're on a desert. You're on a desert island, right? And you got to pick one. You got to kick the other one off the island. This is Song Survivor. Be another
oh
podcast we could
goodness,
do.
Song Survivor.
Yeah,
Oh
we
dear.
should. What's
Well, I
that guy
went
that
first
Jeff
last
broke? Is
time.
it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go first. I'll go first this time. So
Uh,
again,
yes,
we're
it's Jeff Probst.
He's got a great chin.
Yeah,
You ever looked at his chin,
he's
his
got
jawline?
one of those dimples or something. Or I'm trying to picture his face right now.
Oh yeah,
I'll have to Google it later.
he's got dimples too. He's a good looking dude. I'd snuggle him. So yeah, which one am I gonna which one am I gonna go for? Neck and neck here again. I'm sure there's gonna be songs that we do where it's like, I just hate one song, or not hate it, but just don't really like one. Um, but on this one again, it's like, gosh dang, they're both great. It's almost a coin flip. My pros for Nirvana is they made it, they recorded, like they wrote it. As I've said before, raging guitars typically win for me. So raging guitars all over the place, and it's literally one of the most popular grunge songs of all time. Um, then Sturgill, I got his as a total reinvention. It's almost like he rewrote the entire song. I mean, it's sort of his own, moody as hell, and great for casual listening. If it's not doesn't wear on your ears much. So um, I'm going to go with Sturgill on this one here. I think it's mainly because I heard the Nirvana one the 299 million times that Spotify has done that, but I I don't hear anything new in that song at this point because I've heard it so much. And Sturgill, I feel like every time I listen to it, I'm like, oh, there's a nuance there that I didn't pick up on another time. So it still feels funky fresh to me. So yeah, I'm going with Sturgill's.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense. With you hear a song enough, and it could be an amazing, brilliant song, but you hear it enough, and it's just doesn't hit you, doesn't get that serotonin flowing in your brain.
Wow.
Um, so interesting. I actually thought you were going to go with Nirvana. So that was a surprise to me. And if we are, saying the whole desert island, you got this song, only one version of it. I'm going with Sturgill as well.
Yeah.
I love the original version. It's rock and roll. It's grunge. It's in your face. It's familiar. It feels good to hear it. However, to its detriment, it's also familiar. And to your
Yeah.
exact point, you listen to Sturgill's version, and he totally reinvented it. Like I had mentioned earlier, I feel like he made it a completely different song by changing just a couple lyrics. Um, and just all the production quality, all the flugelhorns. I'm going with Sturgill as well.
Nice.
Um,
Well, that's great.
I was like I say, I was surprised. I honestly, going into today, I thought I would pick Nirvana, and you, but so this was a surprise for me.
It's real neck and neck for me. I listened to these two songs probably 20 times each on the way back from Phoenix this week, and again, it was they're both just awesome. And again, recording quality, they all have their own things that you'll love about them. But yeah, again, like I said, mine was more about being sort of fresh. Um, that that kind of put me in that category. Going into this, I thought it was going to be Nirvana. Honestly,
Yeah, I think listening to it so many times changed both our minds because we're on the same page there.
yeah,
But
yeah. So, well, cool, man. Well, hey, I got one last fun fact. I want to. Did you know? Did you know that Kurt Cobain's eyes are blue? One blue to the left and one blue to the right.
oh God, too soon. Oh,
Oh
that's
yeah.
woof.
Oh yeah. That was a deep. That was a deep. Yeah. So for those that don't know the joke, look it up on the internet. You'll find it.
Oh,
uh,
well, we appreciate y'all listening today.
yeah. Do you want to give another plug to our sponsor, Joey
Oh,
Legato's? What?
no, it's Joy Lawrence's.
Oh,
Blossoms Flower Seeds by Joey Lawrence.
nice. Whoa.
Um, yeah, where every bloom is whoa. We appreciate the sponsorship. We appreciate all your comments and feedback, and everybody who's listening, watching, whatever, wherever you are.
Yeah, and we want to know what you guys think too. Vote in the comments and let us know. Also, let us know feedback on the podcast. We want to make this better and continue to grow. So if there's things that you like about it or things you don't, let us know. And we appreciate everybody's listening.
Yeah, we'll be back soon. A little teaser for next episode. It's getting to be Christmas time, so we'll be
Oh
doing a
yeah,
Christmas theme song. So
yeah.
stay tuned for that.
Ho ho ho.
All right.
All right, over and out.
Well, you all have a good one.
Well, go Lions.